Good evening. Welcome to the Fable and Tale ASMR channel, where you can get cozy, rest your eyes from a long day, perhaps take a nap, and listen to this delightful tale or fable that I have for you. First, we'll have some tea, but before that, I would really appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and share this channel. It would be a blessing. Without further ado, let's have some tea. Now let's let that steep for a little while. Get some nice steam going. Lets you know it's getting nice and good. As for you, why don't you relax and listen to the story I have for you. Now, as you close your eyes, perhaps fall asleep, release all of the thoughts and the feelings of a hard day. Perhaps it's a little chilly in your home. You pull up a nice, comfortable blanket. Rest your eyes with your puppy or your cat nearby. Nice breeze blowing. Give a listen to the story I have for you. Now, it was a while ago when there was an old raccoon farmer by the name of Oliver. Now, he wasn't beyond working age, mind you. He was just old enough to tend to his crops, which was all corn. Now, he lived high up in the mountains, just around treeline, near a nice, calm lake. Now, he also had a friend, an entire beaver family. A large beaver by the name of Mr. Buxton. Now, Mr. Buxton and his raccoon friend Oliver wore human clothes and spoke the human language. But on the other side of the lake, there was a small hiking trail, far up in the mountains, so rare was it that anyone came near the end of the lake. But mind you, the trail did come to the lake. The cottage of Mr. Oliver and the beaver dam that was quite large of Mr. Buxton and his family were on the other side of the lake. Now, one day, a young man and his wife and his little girl, probably the age of 7, I believe, came hiking up the trail, and they ended at the end of the lake. Now they had spread out a blanket and a nice picnic for themselves to eat and enjoy the mountain air, listen to the sound of the fish rolling up in the lake. And that's just what they did. Now, on the other side, perhaps the side not that Mr. Buxton and his friend Oliver were on, a mountain lion had caught notice of the family and was creeping its way around the edge of the lake. Meanwhile, the little girl began to tell her father that she had to use the restroom. So the father told her, "Why don't you go over there by those rocks, behind the rocks, and do what you've got to do and then come back to us?" Well, that's just what she did. Now, this was about 50 yards away. The little girl went over behind the rocks and did what she needed to do. But as she stood up, she heard sounds on the side of the lake and realized there, sure enough, was a mountain lion. "I see you," she said. The mountain lion continued to creep along. "Hello," I said, "I see you." She suddenly began to be afraid. Now, this girl was only 7 years old. Now, in her smart little brain, she believed if I were to run back to my family, that mountain lion would chase me and perhaps hurt and harm my whole family. So, even though I don't have to know how to swim, I must. The little girl started towards the water when she heard a calm voice say to her, Be careful. She looked around, and there was a raccoon wearing overalls with a small hat on, standing up like a human. "You can talk," she said. "Yes, I can, but we don't have time to discuss this. You've got a mountain lion bearing down on you." "What should I do? I don't want to lead him back to my family," she said. "Well, lucky for you, me and my friend Mr. Buxton here," as the large beaver came out of the water. Very large. "We're going to offer you an escape, but it's going to cost you to spend the night with us." His family, that is. "What about my parents?" "The mountain lion doesn't know about your parents. Come with us, and the mountain lion will lose interest. But you better hurry." Mr. Buxton slapped his big tail on the water. The cougar stopped and paused and waited. The little girl climbed on Mr. Buxton's back, as well as the raccoon did, just in time. The mountain lion got near, but was too late. Mr. Buxton was far too good of a swimmer. As he swam across the lake, the little girl watched as the mountain lion tried to follow them around the side, but was unable to see the parents due to the gigantic rocks. "There you go," said the raccoon. "Now, to enjoy a nice hot meal and a good sleep at Mr. Buxton's." The little girl looked back to see her parents beginning to get up and look around. But she didn't want the mountain lion to go to her parents, so she stayed quiet. "All right, sweetie," said Oliver the raccoon. "Hold your breath. We're going underwater. That's the only way to get to the front door of Mr. Buxton's house." She held her breath. "All right," said Mr. Buxton. "Everybody hold on." They held on to his thick brown fur as he ducked under like a gigantic submarine and went under the water and up through the little hole into his beaver cottage. As Mr. Buxton climbed up, he pulled the little girl up and wiped her eyes, as well as the raccoon climbing out. "Oh, what do we have here?" said Mrs. Buxton. "Well, another little girl we've rescued from that darned mountain lion." "Oh, poor dear. Come over, we've got roasted corn with butter, salt, and pepper." The little kids watched as the little girl came over to the table and sat down. "Charlie," said Mr. Buxton to his son, "climb up the ladder and look out the roof hole, see where that cougar is." "Yes, sir." The little boy climbed up the ladder. He looked out. The mountain lion was nowhere to be seen. He climbed back down and sat at the table as Mrs. Buxton brought over tea and roasted corn. "Where's this roasted corn from?" said the little girl. My farm, actually. It's quite near Mr. Buxton's beaver dam," said Oliver the raccoon. "That's all I grow, really, is corn. And it's the best corn on this side of the mountain, that's for sure." They sat and ate the delicious corn, cooked precisely well as homemade bread and a nice apple pie afterwards. They enjoyed tea, and the little girl told stories to the beaver children. Later, it was time for bed. Meanwhile, the little girl's parents were frantically looking for the child. All across the lake, everywhere they could, they've called the rangers and everything. Unable to find their child, they went down to the ranger cabin for the night to resume their search in the morning. Now the little girl, with a full belly and a somewhat happy heart due to the fact that she's still alive, was able to lay down in bed. She fell fast asleep with Mrs. Buxton singing songs. Before you know it, it was the morning. Mr. Buxton hollered at his son. "Charlie." "Yes, Dad?" "Check out the roof hole again." The child climbed the ladder and opened the tiny roof hole window and looked out. No mountain lion to be seen. However, there were rangers and firefighters as well as the parents for the little girl looking along the shore. "Time to go, Dad." "Very well. Come on, little one." "All right, goodbye, Buxtons," said Oliver the raccoon. "Hop on," said Mr. Buxton. As Oliver the raccoon and the little girl hopped on to Mr. Buxton's back, "Hold your breath." They jumped into the water, swam out, and came up for air. Now Mr. Buxton brought the little girl halfway across the lake to where, when she got off of him, she was able to stand. So she walked through the water when suddenly her parents noticed. Mr. Buxton and Raccoon stayed out of the way so they would not be seen. They needed to remain secret, of course. The little girl came to the water, and the rangers and the parents came running over, and they held the little girl. "Oh my gosh," said the mother. "I'm so glad you're alive. You're okay." Now there was another firefighter who knew exactly what happened the night before, because there was a long time ago when he was a child, the same thing happened to him. After they checked and see if the little girl was okay, no scratches or scars or scrapes or cuts, they let her go. But the little firefighter man came over and knelt down by the little girl. Mind you, I apologize. And he said, "Were you with some friends last night?" "I was," said the little girl as her eyes lit up. "I know you were. One time, long ago, I was with friends," and he winked. The little girl gasped. The firefighter nodded his head, happy with a smile. The little girl went with her parents, and the firefighter stood. He walked to the lake's edge and looked with his eyes across the water with a little bit of mist on it. And there on the other side of the shore was the firefighter, was the raccoon, and Mr. Buxton. The firefighter waved. The raccoon and Mr. Buxton waved as well. A shot rang out from on the side of the lake, letting you know the rangers had finally destroyed the cougar that was causing so much trouble. The little girl went with the rangers, and they all went back down home, as Mr. Raccoon, Oliver, went back to his cottage, and Mr. Buxton went back to his family. Thank you for coming to my channel and enjoying a story. I hope to bring you peace and calm and serenity with ASMR and fairy tales and fables as stories as well. Please like, subscribe, and share. I'll see you again soon. Until next time, have a good night or a good nap. Goodbye.